We can only realize our vision of attaining an empowered and prosperous upper middle income society by guarding against and desisting from all forms of actions and
It's strange, Anne. Standing here, you can almost feel the weight of their sacrifices. The general's words still echo. No one will defend our country except ourselves. That line, it cuts deep, doesn't it?
It does, because it's true. When he spoke of corruption and self-interest as betrayals to the heroes, I thought of how far we've drifted from what they fought for. These weren't just soldiers. They were dreamers. Builders of a nation are still crying out for integrity.
Also to those whom we laid here and at various shrines across the country, and indeed those who are buried in mass graves in neighboring countries. Let us remember that we lost over 50,000 Zimbabweans, combatants, Mujibas and Chimbwindos, and our parents and children during the War of Liberation. Lest we forget.
The Vice President said 50,000 Zimbabweans died for our freedom. But here's the question nobody's asking. What does honoring that sacrifice actually look like in 2025? Not in speeches, in policy, in action, in your daily life and mine. Tonight we're going past the rhetoric. Let's talk solutions. The VP said no one will defend our country except ourselves. Great. So what does self-defense look like economically? Government spending is over 60% of GDP. Imagine if 70% of government contracts had to go to Zimbabwean companies for Zimbabwean-made goods. We're talking school uniforms from local textile mills, hospital beds from local manufacturers, software from Harare developers, not Silicon Valley. One policy change, thousands of jobs, real sovereignty. We have one of the youngest populations in Africa. Instead of watching them leave, create tax-free innovation zones in every province. 5-year tax holidays for startups, free business registration, mentorship programs linking young entrepreneurs with experienced business leaders. Make it easier to build a company than to find a job abroad. 4 million Zimbabweans abroad send home billions annually. Stop treating them like ATMs. Treat them like investors.
Lack of respect for each other and pet jealous are mortal sins, which cannot be forgiven here on earth and in heaven.
Issue sovereign bonds exclusively for diaspora Zimbabweans. Infrastructure projects, agriculture modernization, solar energy. Give them ownership in the Zimbabwe they still love. Not just guilt trips about remittances. This is what self-reliance looks like. Not slogans, systems. The VP warned about corruption betraying the hero's legacy. But let's be honest, we've heard this before. Many times. So here's what actual anti-corruption architecture looks like. Every government official, every parastatal CEO, every procurement officer. Declare your assets. Online. Searchable. Not filed away in some office. On a website that every Zimbabwean can access. Update it yearly. Mismatch between salary and assets. Automatic investigation. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Remove procurement from individual ministries. Create one autonomous body with rotating leadership, regular audits, and criminal prosecution powers. Every tender over $50,000 requires 3 competitive bids. All published online. No exceptions. People know where the corruption is, but they're afraid to speak. Protected identity guarantees, financial rewards for information leading to convictions, job protection, relocation assistance if needed, make it profitable and safe to be honest, make it dangerous and expensive to be corrupt. A dedicated committee with subpoena power investigating unexplained wealth, bipartisan, quarterly public hearings. If you can't explain where the money came from, it goes back to the Treasury. This isn't radical. It's basic accountability, unity, Ubuntu, beautiful words. But how do you actually build it in a divided nation? Not military service. National service. After finishing school, every young person spends 1 year working on national projects, building schools in rural areas, teaching digital literacy, environmental conservation. Rich kids work alongside poor kids, urban alongside rural, every tribe, every background. You can't hate someone after you've built a classroom with them. Not just truth and reconciliation, truth, healing, and development.
Communities identify historical grievances, but instead of just talking, they design development projects addressing those grievances. Gukurahundi region,
major infrastructure investment, farm displacement communities, land and support packages. Acknowledgement plus action equals healing. Stop waiting for politicians to unite us. Empower communities to unite themselves. Monthly town halls in every district. Citizens raise issues. Local leaders respond. Decisions made transparently. Bottom-up unity is stronger than top-down commands. Ubuntu isn't a feeling, it's a practice, and practice requires structure. A nation which cannot secure its stomach cannot safeguard its sovereignty. Right now, Zimbabwe imports 40% of its maize in drought years. That's not sovereignty. That's vulnerability. We can't keep blaming droughts when we're surrounded by rivers. $500 million irrigation program. Every farming region gets at least one irrigation scheme within 3 years. Partner with Israel, India, and countries that have solved this. Learn, build, farm year-round. Not handouts, guarantees. The government guarantees to buy surplus at fixed prices. Eliminates market risk for smallholder farmers. You plant, you harvest, you have a buyer. Period. More people will farm when farming isn't gambling. Anyone holding agricultural land, use it or lose it. Land sitting idle for 3 consecutive years. Redistributed to productive farmers. This isn't about race or history, it's about feeding people. If you're farming productively, commercial or communal, you're protected. If you're land banking, time's up. Stop exporting raw crops. Process them here. Tomatoes become paste, maize becomes flour and animal feed. Tobacco becomes finished products. Value addition means more jobs and more revenue. Make farming attractive to young people. Subsidized loans for young farmers, modern equipment leasing programs, digital agriculture training, market linkage support. Farming doesn't have to mean poverty. In Israel, farmers are tech entrepreneurs. Why not here? Now here's where it gets personal. Because of all these policies, they mean nothing if we're not willing to do our part. Buy Zimbabwean. Actively check labels, choose local products, even if they cost 10% more. Every dollar you spend is a vote for someone's job. Hire locally, train constantly, pay fairly. Stop complaining about lack of skills if you're not willing to develop them. Teach your children Zimbabwean history, not just the struggle, the achievements. Pride comes from knowledge. Stop waiting for government jobs. Create, build, start something. The heroes didn't wait for permission to liberate Zimbabwe. Don't wait for permission to build it. Come back, not forever if you can't, but invest, mentor, transfer skills. Zimbabwe isn't where you're from, it's where you're needed. Honoring heroes isn't about monuments, it's about choices. Every day you choose, do I contribute or complain, build or break, unite or divide? The Vice President stood at Heroes Acre and challenged us. But let's be clear about what that challenge really is. It's not about remembering the past. It's about designing the future. A future where every Zimbabwean child eats 3 meals a day. Corruption is rare because systems won't allow it. Our best minds build here instead of leaving unity is practiced in policy, not just preached in speeches. The word Zimbabwe means excellence, not struggle. That Zimbabwe, it won't be gifted to us. It has to be built. And building requires leadership with courage, citizens with discipline, policies with teeth, patience with vision. 50,000 people died for our freedom. The question isn't whether we're grateful. The question is, what will we build with that freedom? Because monuments honor the dead, but progress honors the sacrifice. Zimbabwe, we've mourned long enough. Let's build. Your voice matters. Share your policy ideas. Email. Join citizen forums. Website. Report corruption. Hotline. One nation. One future. Our responsibility.
Living cadres that Zimbabwe continues to enjoy its sovereign nationhood as a state. We can only realize our vision of attaining an empowered and prosperous upper middle income society by guarding against and desisting from all forms of actions and misdeeds which undermine the national interest.
And when he said, no one carries to the world beyond the material things one gathers, that hit me, because our heroes didn't die rich, they died righteous. Today, many chase wealth without legacy, but what good is prosperity without purpose?
Exactly. He reminded us. The only way to honor them is to build the Zimbabwe they envisioned. A peaceful, secure, prosperous Zimbabwe. One that respects its people, its land, its flag. But sometimes I wonder, have we really honored that vision?
Maybe not fully, but acknowledging that is the first step. He spoke of Ubuntu, unity and forgiveness. Those words aren't just for politics, they're for us as people. If we can't respect or forgive each other, we can't move forward.
50,000 lives, Owen. 50,000 Zimbabweans, Mujibas, Chimbwidos, parents, children, all gone for freedom. And yet sometimes we take that freedom for granted. He called it a sacred goal. Maybe we need to see it that way again.
Yes, because sovereignty isn't just about borders. It's about values. It's about feeding the nation. As he said, a nation which cannot secure its stomach cannot safeguard its sovereignty. It's about hard work, unity, and refusing to sell out what was bought with blood.
And it's about gratitude. Even the rains, he said, are a blessing, a reminder that God still watches over this land. Maybe that's where it begins again, with gratitude and responsibility.
To the heroes who lie here, Major General Sisiwa, Comrade Chimutengwende, Ambassador Vundura, and to every soul who gave everything for this soil, we say, we hear you. We will not forget. We will defend and prosper what you sacrificed for.
Rest in peace, sons and daughters of the soil. We promise we will build the Zimbabwe you dreamed of. The story continues. Through us.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on this channel.